T1 Group Summit in Ventura. She'll be working on her speech number 8 today, and it is entitled Mornings with My Pal Hal. Please welcome Hal, Cami Pinsak.
I do have to set up my visual aid here. Maybe.
Oh, the PowerPoint?
I gotta get it to it.
Just look at the screen.
Now, if this doesn't work, I will be doing a lot of cleaning. Good afternoon, Toastmasters. I want to tell you how I spend my mornings with a gentleman named Hal. Keep in mind, my husband's name is Christopher. Cleaning. Maybe you can do
I'll do
this
it
for
for
me.
you.
Yes,
Let me
thank
do it
you.
for you.
I apologize. I saw it work earlier. So, who is Hal? Hal Elrod is a speaker. I don't know if anybody has ever heard of him. Can anybody have a, well, did we go to that together? We go back.
I went back. Sorry.
Note to self. All right. At the age of 20, Hal was in a head-on accident, hit by a drunk driver going about 70 miles an hour. Keep in mind, he had just come off one of the most exciting nights of his life. He'd always wanted to be a motivational speaker. He worked for Cutco Cutlery, and he had just received a recipient, the highest sales award for that year. And he was driving home, he was so excited, and he got hit head-on 70 miles an hour. Not only that, he was then rear-ended. So you can see by the picture on the right that his car was completely smashed. He died on the side of the road. He was dead for 6 minutes. He came back to life. He went to the hospital. He was in a coma for about a week. He broke 11 major bones, the entire one side of his body. And when he came out of his coma, the doctors told him, you may never walk again. It's just not going to happen. You have too much damage. He immediately tried to sell them some cutlery. His parents looked at him and said, what are you doing? Hal, stop it. He said, Mom, do you know how much money doctors make? Gives you an idea of his enthusiasm and zest for life. He kept this attitude up, just completely amazing the doctors, to the point where doctors spoke to his parents and said, I think that your son is in a little bit of denial. He is not going to walk again, and he is most likely going to be brain damaged. So his dad sat down and had a talk with him and said, I think you need to go to some counseling. And he just kind of turned around and looked at his dad and said, Dad, I'm so disappointed. Don't you know me better than that? I have two options here. I'm going to walk again, or I'm going to be the happiest person in a wheelchair that I can be. That's Hal Elrod. It will work.
Oh, it doesn't.
All right. So, he wrote a book after this, which is hysterical because he always wanted to be a motivational speaker. The car accident, the coma, the dead for 6 minutes, kind of gave him the perfect backstory. He just thought he had scored to be a speaker. So then he became a speaker. He wrote this book called Taking Head On, which is very apropos. And he became a very successful coach, motivational speaker, author. Fast forward 10 years, 2007, the economy dumped. His clients could not afford him anymore. He had maybe lived a little too large, lost his house, $425,000 in debt, and he went into a depression that he could not get out of. Worse than his accident, because by his own admission, the accident was worse for his parents and his loved ones. He could not get out of this funk. He gained weight, he was slovenly, if you will, and when he confided to a friend, finally, his friend said, "How are you exercising?" He's like, "I hate exercising." He said, "You should go for a run." "I hate running." But he was desperate. So he went for a run. That started to feel good. And while he was out for his run, he came upon the Miracle Morning Method. And the Miracle Morning Method is in the morning, obviously. Why is it in the morning? Well, studies say that when you wake up early, you are more successful. Look at the Tim Cook from Apple, Virgin America, Richard Branson, George Schultz. Well, he's a Starbucks, so obviously he drinks coffee. They all get up 5-ish or earlier in the morning, because that's the time of the day that you have to take control. It's the only time of day you have control. You can plan your day. What your morning is, your day becomes. Next slide, please. Early to bed, early to rise makes a man
Healthy, wealthy, wise.
Extra points for Ben Franklin. Ben Franklin, right? He had this plan from a very early time. So let's see what the Miracle Morning is. Extra seconds.
Okay, I'm just gonna look at these.
It's called Lifesavers. So S is for silence. A is for affirmations. V is for visualization. E is for exercise. R is for reading. And S is for scribing. Okay, next slide. Silence, meditation. It seems very counterintuitive, but it works. It is the time of day where you can get your mind set for the day. Pause, point of order. I'm going to go over because my technical difficulties. The silence, it has, researchers have shown that it has a transformative effect on your brain. It calms your brain down. People who meditated actually were able to continue on a specific task for longer periods of time without getting distracted and having to switch tasks. Affirmations. You stand, this is not Al Franken, people like me and darn it, I'm worth it. This is saying what you deserve and putting it out there for the universe. I say them every morning. It's part of our training at our work. I am going to have a successful speech today, and my computer equipment will work. That was a study showing that people who did have affirmations, did practice them, had more successful relationships with people in high or low stress environments. Visualization, we know this trick from athletes. They've been doing it for years. But it's mental rehearsal. It's seeing yourself out there, the endless possibilities. There's no limitations. Exercise, we all know why exercise is good for us, because it will keep us alive. But this actually shows that you can add years to your life by exercising, as well as reducing stress. It releases those endorphins. These are just pictures of a 40-year-old man and his brain at the top, a 74-year-old sedentary man, and a 70-year-old active man. If that's not inspiration to exercise. I don't know what it is. Reading. 6 minutes of reading will reduce your stress by 68%. 6 minutes. More than listening to music, more than having a cup of tea, any of the things that you think. Why? Because it immediately stops your brain from what you're focusing on and it focuses on something different. It opens your perspectives. It gives you something different to imagine and think about. It exercises your brain. Scribing or journaling. This is a difficult one for people, but it is very helpful to do this, whether you are just simply restating your affirmations for the day, what you feel good about, what you want to work on, even as little as just saying 3 things that you are grateful for. You can see that the study of people who wrote down and they were grateful, their happiness increased 10%. I'm not sure how you quantify that, but after 6 months, it increased 10%. This is a quote that I took actually from my pal, Hal, when I went to go see him. And I thought it was very appropriate because one in our mission statement indicates that we are here for personal growth. And if we do not have the fortitude to take time for ourselves for as little as half an hour in the morning, then how can we expect to grow as people if we don't work on ourselves first? So this is why I'm going to continue spending my mornings with Hal. Mr. Postmaster.